Hey everybody, Cardio here. Welcome to the first installment of the Pitt. I got a couple of my buddies here. When I started the channel, one of the first things I wanted to do was a podcast. We sit around, we talk about football all the time, and we're all very opinionated, and it's a lot of fun. So I figured it would be some good content for the channel. So that's what we're here to do today, and we got a lot of good stuff to talk about with the playoffs starting. So I got my buddy Derek here. You guys would know him from Bro Down Breaks. He was on there before, and he'll be on there again. We got Nick over here.
So,
and then lastly, we got my cousin Dylan, and I'd say that's the only person that can rival me in football knowledge that I know. So, all right. Yeah, I'm glad to have everybody here watching today, though. So, to kick it off, I wanted to do a little season recap. So I'll kick it off. Let's start on the AFC side a little bit. We'll talk about the season, then maybe go into our predictions for the playoffs. But so the number one thing, I was talking to Dylan about this earlier. Jonathan Taylor is not the best running back in the NFL, and I want to say that. I want to rant about that because it really grinds my gears. I hate it. Jonathan Taylor is not the best running back in the NFL. First off, Derrick Henry averaged 14 more yards a game than him. Yeah, and that's just Derrick Henry. I mean,
John Taylor 2 weeks to pass Derrick Henry after injury.
Mm-hmm. He's just running around the best in line. Or like one up.
And a team with a horrible quarterback, so they have to run.
That's also
50 times a
at
game.
least.
Yeah, so that's my first point. Jonathan Taylor's not the best running back. Second point, I want to give a shout out to the Steelers because hardest schedule in the NFL at the start of the season, based off of whatever statistics make that up. And I'm trained in statistics. I don't know how they come up with that because it doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know how that comes, but shout out to them for that. Ben's really looking rough, but he got us here. So kudos to you guys. Steelers are in the playoffs. And other than that, as far as the AFC is concerned, the Ravens should be ashamed of themselves because you had some injuries to a couple of players that don't matter too much, and Lamar a couple of games, you guys look like not very good. So
Dolphins should be ashamed for firing Flores.
Yeah, that was
the worst.
I 100% agree.
That was terrible.
Yeah, that's the worst head coach firing I've seen in a long time.
He turned the team around.
About that. I think personally he should have stayed because he ended up winning the last 8 out of 9 games or something like that. Some crazy
stat.
That was absolutely
they started off
ridiculous.
1-7, I believe.
Yeah, they were 1-7, garbage team, and he made Tua throughout the last 8 games at least a comparable quarterback to win them games, put them in position to possibly make the playoffs, and they just kick them out like that. That was ridiculous.
Not too long ago, I was thinking the Patriots had this long line of assistant coaches that get head coaching jobs, and they just suck. They're just horrible, right? Like Josh McDaniels in Denver, and Matt Patricia. Like the list goes on. But Flores comes in, looks great. Mike Vrabel, Tennessee, looks great. These are Belichick guys. And I was like, the Patriot machine is finally producing some other good head coaches. And then I was thinking at the end of the season, I was thinking in reality, the top 3 coaches in the NFL might all be from the Patriots. It might be Belichick, Vrabel, and Brian Flores. That's how good I think he is. And then he gets dropped, and that's why Miami's Miami, and they haven't been good since Don Shula.
Yeah, Miami's
Probably won't be for a while.
Have been for a long time. That's where careers go to die, Miami.
And the
Pretty
Browns.
much.
Yeah.
Poor Tua, though. I think he gets too much hate. I think he's okay. I don't think he's great.
Yeah, he's not like one of the
He's
best,
not
but
Burrow,
he's good
he's not
enough.
Herbert, but he's fine. And everybody hates on him like he's ridiculous. So I don't know. Anybody else got any other good hot takes on the AFC though? I mean, there's plenty of talk.
I have a question for you guys. You think David Culley deserved to be fired after
Yes.
one season?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He should have never been hired to begin with. That's like Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah, but I feel like if you
I don't
hire
know.
him for one season,
I
you
don't
got
know.
to keep him for 2.
I think he did pretty good, at least this season, for what they had.
I think
They're no Deshaun Watson. I mean, they didn't get the deal done to get him out of there, which is a real shame because they should have, and that would have really helped them. But I guess the offseason they have time, but I think they have something in Davis Mills. They definitely do.
I think so.
He did look good, especially towards the end.
Mhm.
Like, really good.
I think that they pass on drafting anything in quarterback. They need to just leave Davis Mills there for the next year.
Build around him.
And, basically shore up whatever loose ends they have, get rid of Deshaun Watson, and they'll be back to, at least comparable.
I feel what you're saying. I'm not trying to hate on Cauley, but my issue is he did a fine job. But, he was the wrong hire to begin with. So I think they're trying to right the ship. They realize, okay, I think in reality, right, and I know Nick Casero or whatever his name is, the GM there now, he comes from New England, and they all think that they can do just crazy things that nobody's going to expect, and it works, and it doesn't. That's why nobody's successful out there except for Belichick and Vrabel, and Flores. But I think he brought in Cauley partially thinking I might as well throw a Hail Mary with this head coaching job because the team's going to suck, and I don't want everybody to be Eric Bieniemy was a horrible hire and ruined an actual good head coaching hire. I feel like he did it for a year as a placeholder, just like the Niners did after Harbaugh with Jim Tom Sula, just for a year, and bam, it just seems random, just for the hell of it,
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but speaking of the Texans too, one last important AFC point, where's Watson end up? I mean, we're going to talk about the offseason a little later on in the podcast, but, it's a good question.
Miami still wants him.
Yeah.
But then again, Brian Flores is going.
Yeah, now
A
Flores
lot
is
of teams are
going.
going to win.
Flores is going to go
What
to the
team won't want
Giants.
I have a
the
sneaky
Giants
little
will
team
get
that I think will take them, but we can talk about that.
All right, yeah, we'll save it. So, all right, since we discussed the AFC a little bit before we get into the NFC, let's talk AFC playoff predictions. So let's run through week 1, and then let's all give our Super Bowl pick at the end from the AFC. I want to hear it. So, first off, let's come out the gate, firing on all cylinders. Steelers, Chiefs. Who you guys got?
I'm just going to say the Steelers. I'm going to take them. I'm just going to pray for
You
it.
don't want to look like a
I'll
Fairweather
take 'em.
fan on the cast.
Huh?
You don't want to look like a Fairweather fan on the podcast.
Nope. I'll root for them. I'll take
I'm
them.
going to take the Steelers. I like the Big Ben quote he said this week
Yeah, I like his
about,
attitude.
about them being underdogs and about how they're going to lose by at least 20. And I think that's rather than being we're going to smoke them, I think that's he's going in there to play.
Yeah.
There's no side thoughts for him.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I think it's going to be an uphill battle. I think it's going to be tough, but I'll go to Steelers too, just because, one, I don't want to look like a jerk on my own podcast. Number 2, I think that the reality of the situation is the Steelers are the most dangerous team in the playoffs right now because they're horrible, and they're just playing out of their mind because Ben's retiring. And, that's the fact of the matter. It's a team that's hot at the right time, and there's no rhyme or reason why they're good, so how do you plan for that? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll be the realist of the group. Chiefs are going to win.
All right.
There's the only way that the Steelers come close to winning is if their defense gets extremely hot. TJ Watt has 5 or 6 sacks, just beats Mahomes up, and he's rushing to throw the ball every time because we don't have linebackers that could cover Travis Kelce. We don't have anyone that is short of going to the nursing home in cornerback that'll cover Tyreek Hill and his speed. And Minka's one person, Watt's one person, Hayward's one person. That's not enough to beat the Chiefs and their high-powered offense, even though the Chiefs' defense isn't going to be great. But we got Ben back there who is, there's games he throws for 123 yards. You haven't seen him do that in his entire career because he's at that point, it's over. Yeah. So unless Najee Harris runs for 300 yards and about 5 touchdowns, there's no way.
Ben's lucky to get 20 yards through the air.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's getting bad.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I think that if there's a team that's going to pull a crazy upset, it's the Steelers, but what's the chance?
I do think that if the Steelers upset, they get an ego and lose the next week. I think if the Steelers beat the Chiefs, they'll get so hyped. Juju will post 3 TikToks, and then they'll get embarrassed. I mean, it'll be a sad
I'm a little bummed Juju's coming back because I think that's going to throw off the
I think it'll help.
It'll help in the run game.
I don't think it's going to help anything, but All right, next one. So tomorrow night's big game. This is getting posted on Saturday, so tonight's big game. Bills Patriots. Great rivalry. That's an exciting one. Too bad Bray's not in it, but
Yeah.
What you got?
I'm taking Bills. I think Bills are going to be good in the playoffs.
I'm taking Patriots. I think they're the team to watch. Mack Jones.
I'm going Bills. I don't think the Patriots are real. I think it's all coaching, and I think just one important point. I think that to win a Super Bowl, now the Patriots could knock off one or two teams in the playoffs. I want to put that past them, but to win a Super Bowl, I think basically any team to go back through all time, you probably got to have at least two Hall of Famers on there that are clearly that good, and the Patriots don't even have one.
Yeah.
I mean, that team, talent-wise, is so horrible, but it all comes back to, they got probably the best coach of all time. So that can compensate so much, but, and also the cold weather. Last time they played the Bills in the freezing cold, Mack Jones threw 3 passes.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills aren't going to be scared of him passing on them this time, so they're going to play the run hard.
Well, that was with the win, though, too.
Yeah, but he can't throw them cool. I mean, he probably can, but, he's not there yet. Give him a couple more years.
First one with 3 passes.
What's your thought?
I'm going with the Patriots. They're going to repeat what they did to him when they played him first. The Patriots are going to shut down Josh Allen. He's going to look silly. And I'm a big Josh Allen fan, but I think that after they did that, they're just going to make him look silly in the playoffs. They're going to do exactly what they did the first time. No matter how cold it is, they're just going to make him look. He's not going to do anything. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I don't want the Patriots to win, but I think they will.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think you're wrong necessarily with what the game plan is going to be. They're going to go after Allen hard and try and confuse him, but I don't know. But so we're split on that one.
Yeah,
good content. All right, so last one here. We got the Raiders out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know where they came
from. Bengals. Yeah, the Raiders are DUI and a gun charge. And in the playoffs,
yeah,
I don't know, but it's the Raiders Bengals. What you got?
I'm taking Bengals. I hate to say it, but Joe Burrow looks so good right now. I just don't think they're gonna lose to the Raiders. He's happening.
That's fair. I don't know. Joe Burrow is just good in the division. I mean, he's good altogether, but in the division, he's like the best quarterback in the league when he plays against the AFC North.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna go with the Raiders. They're just pulling through.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Raiders too, just because they're scrappy, But I'm not an AFC North Bengals hater. I actually picked them to win the division at the start of the season. I know I said that to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they looked the best. And, I think they're real, but I think they're a little too young. And Derek Carr, he's really surprised me. I was kind of a Derek Carr hater at the start of the year. Liked him a few years back. There's more so I didn't like Gruden, but they're earning it, man, so I'll give them the edge.
I love the Raiders, but I'm definitely going Bengals. They're too hot right now. Joe Burrow's fucking smoking. He's smoking.
See if we can bleep that.
He's smoking. Jamar Chase is going crazy. The only thing I will say is the point you brought up that they are young. Yeah. So if it does fall apart, it falls apart because of their age. They'll definitely be back there within the next 5-10 years. They're going to be there every year. They're going to be top team in AFC North.
It's going to be scary for a while, man.
100%. But
Ravens aren't real. Browns aren't real right now. Steelers aren't real. Bengals are real.
Oh yeah.
I'll say it.
I wouldn't mind if Derek Carr dropped a ton on them.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy he survived the Gruden era. I thought that was going to ruin him. So good for him.
He still
came out a better player out of it.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's get into the NFC. My number 1 point, and we'll talk about this. We're going to go into awards and stuff here at the end. But my number 1 point, NFC, the Rams are the real deal. They are.
Oh, yeah.
They were already the real deal even with Jared Goff. Now they're the real deal. And we'll get into this. Matt Stafford should be the MVP. I'm saying it. Everybody's going to hate it. I don't care. I got statistical backing. Yeah, he's earned it. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But that's my first take in the NFC. My second take is it's scary. Any conference that has Tom Brady because the Bucs, they look great. I mean, they had all those injuries. They're good. It could be the Bucs any year. And then my last take on the NFC, Cowboys are not real. Also, one more thing. Sam Darnold, you fooled me, man. I'll say it. Sam Darnold. I said, so when Sam Darnold got drafted, I said, mark my words, the Jets will win a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold. I got burned on that pretty disgustingly bad. Then Sam Darnold comes to Carolina, looks amazing the first couple games, right? So I texted the group, and I said, Darnold's going to be in the Hall of Fame. And I hate my words, man. I trusted Sam Darnold for a long time. I really believed in him, and Sam, you broke my heart, man.
Got benched to Cam Newton pretty quick.
Yeah, down with Darnold. Did not like him from day one. I'm glad that, that sounds bad, but I'm glad I was right. I'll say it that way. I'm glad I was right.
Because that Carolina defense is so real, though, too. Brian Burns, phenomenal. Jeremy Chin, phenomenal. I mean,
I'll bring them back up later.
All right.
But the one thing I want to say about the NFC, the Lions, they look good for being so bad.
Yes.
Yeah. I love Dan Campbell.
Sure.
I love him. I love his mentality about taking kneecaps.
He should have got hired a long time ago when he had his interim head coach stint with the Dolphins, and they went like fucking. They went like 3 for 4, 3 for 5 or whatever, and they were all.
I love the trick plays he adds. He's just aggressive.
He tries very hard. He wants every point that he can get, and he won't take no for an answer. Yeah. That's the type of guy that I'll ride with.
He tries very hard, and the team buys into that. That's a good thing. All right, so any other thoughts on the NFC? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty more to talk about.
James Conner, like I said, good running back. No one got behind me. James Conner, love that guy.
He's
glad that he put up all the touchdowns that he did. Before the season started, I said he's going to be top 7 in touchdowns this year. Top 3. 2, technically, if you want to count that tie.
He surprised me, but I still I think it's a good fit for him because they spread the field so much. You know, I think it opens up some lanes that I could run through. You know, but I don't hate on James Conner. I'm just saying he's not a Pro Bowl running back.
I liked him, but he's just
not a Pro Bowl running back.
That was a mistake. That was a mistake.
Yeah, but he's so hurt. You know. Like with the Steelers, every season he was injured.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Like, you're the number one. We can get into that if you want to. I hate the Steelers and how they run the ball. Recently, they haven't been too terrible at it, but I hated how they used James Conner. They put him in the stupid shotgun runs, and they just hand the ball to him. He has no momentum going forward, so he just gets blown up right in the backfield because it's James Conner. He's not the fastest running back in the league. So why would you do that? What was going through their mind? That's what killed me. They never used him. The first season, they used him decent, and that's why I made the Pro Bowl. But after that, they just had no idea. They wanted him to be Le'Veon Bell without Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, you're not wrong. We're far away from the days of the downhill running backs with the Steelers when we had Arians and Haley and his offense coordinator. Even though Haley had his downfalls, you see Najee now too. He starts trying to do this sideline to sideline stuff, and I think it's partially because the line is letting him get, beat to death back there. But, it's just at the end of the day, we don't run up the middle. We run from the shotgun, and we can't run up the middle. So it's an issue,
Yeah.
But, I don't know. But whatever. NFC playoff predictions. So out the gate, let's go with the team I'm talking about. Cardinals, Rams.
Easy.
Yeah.
Rams.
I
like the Cardinals a lot.
No one should even have to
Rams
elaborate on the Rams and why they're going to win.
They're just too good.
Is DeAndre Hopkins even playing?
I'm not
sure.
If he doesn't play, they have no chance. They haven't won. How many games have they lost when he's been out? I think he's lost the last 3 or something like that.
To that point, this is why Cliff Kingsbury is the best coach in the NFL with the right players, and here's why. Because his system, the way they spread everybody, that system is foolproof. Nobody can stop it if you have a true number one receiver that you have to pay attention to. It's when Hawkins in there, nobody can stop the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, he sucks. He's not that good. He's not a good passer. Sorry, I don't like him. He's not a good passer. But Hawkins, great receiver. When Hawkins is in there, people have to pay attention. And then that allows this crazy air raid scheme to develop in random dudes like Rondale Moore down the field for a 40-yard touchdown. And it's great coaching, but he knew he needed a player like Hawkins. He made the trade, got Hawkins in there, and it works when he's there, but when he's not there, the whole scheme falls apart. So that's the shortcoming of it. But it's great coaching is why the Cardinals are good. The Cardinals are a middle-of-the-road team if Kingsbury doesn't have this crazy scheme. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but,
I like Kyler. I think Kyler's good.
I like him.
I think he's pretty, like, electric.
I don't. Yeah,
I think without his dual threat ability, he'd be nothing.
Oh yeah, if you couldn't run, he'd be.
his arm's
he'd
not
be
really
awful.
that great. And, I mean, you see when a team rattles them. Like the Lions. The Lions rattled Kyler and he fell apart.
He's a shorter Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
he is.
In that sense, I mean, they're not crazy good at throwing the ball, but their legs make them such a threat that you don't know whether you can't really just play the pass the entire time because if you open up a hole, they're going to go right through it and you're dashed for like 20 yards.
Realistically, too, he's probably got to run to the sides because he can't see over the O-line.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Realistically.
What is he, like 5'11"?
You know?
Yeah,
He's like 5'11" or something.
They're probably like
Short.
6'5", you know?
All right, enough Kyler Murray.
I don't know.
So let's go on to the next one. Shout out to our buddy at IWC. We're going to have him on here. We'll have him on here soon. Ricky Dawkins. Shout out to you, buddy.
Man, the myth, the
Yeah.
legend.
Eagles, Bucks. You guys can tell by last name who he's a fan of. Who you taking?
I'm taking the Bucks.
I'm
Sorry,
taking the
Ricky
Eagles.
Dawkins.
Eagles.
Eagles
Are kind
I
of
like the
scrappy
Eagles.
for some weird
Like-
reason. I think the roster is trash, but it's going to be the Bucks. It's going to be the Bucks. Tom Brady's not making a first round exit.
I love Jalen Hurts, and I hope he's the quarterback there for a long time because I think he has a lot of potential. He's only improved every season.
I believe in him too.
So
Yeah,
if
he
they get
does
rid of
good.
him, I hope he goes to a team that loves him and uses him all the time because I love Jalen Hurts, but the Bucks, they're too good. Eagles have no shot. If the Eagles upset them, it could be like, when they went to the Super Bowl and they were the underdogs the entire time.
Yeah.
But if they do that, that's absolutely
When
absurd.
Tom Brady does the worst, though,
That'd be
is when he's against.
Yeah, he
Like
always
a
plays
crazy
the
underdog.
Washington football team.
That's
last
his
year.
worst game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would love to see it, too, because when the Eagles win an unexpected game in the playoffs, Philly is chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are
the
blocks
city
on
will
fire.
burn.
I'm with you. Yeah, it would be entertaining. I don't think you can pull it off against Brady, but it would be
No,
entertaining.
I don't think it's gonna happen. But
Yeah.
it would take a miracle.
All right. So then lastly, I want to lead this one off. Cowboys Niners. The Cowboys are a fraud. They're bad. That division's bad. Sorry, Eagles. I love Jalen Hurts. The rest of the team's bad. Offensive line's good. The rest of the team's bad. Left tackle's bad. I don't know. Eagles are bad. Everybody in the NFC East is bad. And the Cowboys. Dak is not the real deal. I've been arguing with these guys about it for years. He's not good. He's got the best receivers in the game as far as a receiving core. I really believe that. I mean, it's so deep. Like, look at Cedric Wilson and stuff. Like, they're so good. But Dak is not good. He's got so much talent around him, and he fails when he plays a good defensive scheme. And one thing you got to say about the Niners, even with Saleh gone and stuff, they run a really nice zone defense, and they confuse quarterbacks. And they're going to confuse Dak, and they're going to get, I'll say, 2 to 3 picks on Dak. And I think the Niners are going to pull it out. And Debo's also going to have a great game. I mean, he's been great all year, He's too confusing, too, for a defense whose secondary is bad, Like, Diggs gets a lot of picks, but he can't cover. He's just good at reading the quarterback.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm taking the Cowboys. I think they're very overrated, but I'm taking them anyways against this matchup.
I mean, I think the Niners aren't good either.
I think the Cowboys will pull this one out, and then next week they're done.
I'm taking Cowboys. I think they're just all around good. I mean, they have a pretty decent defense, a good O-line, good receivers. I think Dak's the real deal. I don't think they go to the Super Bowl, but I think they beat the Niners. But I will say Diggs isn't as good as the hype. He's the
No,
first.
he's
great at getting
He's the
interceptions.
first cornerback to ever
Yeah, he's
allow
really
it.
good at picking them off.
He's the
but-
first one to ever allow 1,000 yards to like a single receivers throughout the season.
Yeah, but he's also the first cornerback since like the 60s to put up over 10 interceptions in a year, which
Yeah.
is pretty great.
You can also argue
Yeah.
quarterbacks target him because he gives up a lot. So it's like
Yeah, that's fair.
they kind of equal. I'm not saying he's bad. He's definitely good,
Yeah,
but he's not.
he's just a good ball hawk.
Yeah.
Maybe
Mhm.
maybe he'll make the move to safety one day. I don't know.
He would be a good
turnovers are way more important than the yards that he gave up. That's my stance on that. I don't know if anyone else feels like that, but that's me. In terms of my pick, though, I think I'm going to go with the Cowboys only because I think Dak's a decent quarterback. I don't think he's great by any means, but I think he's definitely better than half the league, probably top 12. He's better than Jimmy Garoppolo without question. He's got a lot of weapons on offense.
Yeah, Garoppolo's awful.
Yeah, he's horrible.
They also I like their defense. I like parts of their defense. Like Micah Parsons, he's a freak.
Mm-hmm.
He's a rookie. He's going to be defensive rookie of the year. He's also on the All-Pro team. He made it this year as a rookie, which is insane. He's in talks of being defensive player of the year, which I don't agree with. Obviously, you know where we all lie with that, but I like that. I like Trayvon Diggs, but
you got talent.
I think they take over the 49ers. It's going to be a tight game, but the Cowboys are definitely getting bounced next week, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a real team. They always underperform. They've underperformed for years, and I don't know why that is.
Coaching's bad. Dak's bad.
I don't think it started with Dak.
If a team looks good and they underperform, it's coaching and it's quarterback play. I'll take that to my grave because you don't see the Bucs. The surrounding talent's good. You don't see them dropping games that they should win when it matters. They do it sometimes, but when it really matters, they don't do it. I don't know, but that's a good segment into all right. Who's our Super Bowl pick? So I want who you have playing. I want who you got winning.
I got Rams, Bills, Rams winning. What I said from the start of the season, I'm sticking to it.
I'm sticking with my original team.
I'm gonna go with Rams, Pats. I think the Pats are gonna be
Rams, Pats.
Mack Jones will be the first rookie to go to the Super Bowl as a quarterback.
All right,
Bill Belichick.
I'm going Packers, and I'm going Bills. I've felt the Bills all year. Do I think they're the best team in the AFC? No, I think the Chiefs are far and away the best team in the AFC, but I think the Bills, they find a way. I don't see the Chiefs going 3 years in a row after, they looked awful in the Super Bowl last year. I don't see them going back. They'll probably go back in the near future, but not this year. So I'm going Bills, Packers. I'm saying Packers take it. Who'd you say won?
Oh, I didn't even say who won.
No, you did. You said the Patriots, man.
No, I was just saying against each other. Yeah, I think Rams will win.
Okay. Well, I guess 3 of us are going to take the Rams then because I'm saying it's the Chiefs-Rams.
Yeah.
Hey man, Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
I
he
love
deserves it.
The
I
Chiefs
just
are
don't
obviously
think
the best team. They're the best team in the AFC, obviously.
They are.
And they're going to be like that as long as Patrick Mahomes is around for a long while. But the Rams, their defense is so disgusting that it's going to basically be a repeat of what happened with the Bucs-Chiefs game last year.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey's going to lock down probably Tyreek Hill. He's going to follow him all game. If he doesn't, he's going to lock down whoever he's on. And then he's going to worry about Aaron Donald, Von Miller. It's going to be a rough game for Patrick Mahomes at that point. So it's going to be game over.
Defense is stacked. All right. Well then, let's take that. So we got our Super Bowl winners. We talked about the season. We got all that out of the way. Now, who deserves the awards? And now I'll give my little Matt Stafford spiel. So the universal two that everybody's talking about are Brady and Rodgers. Then you also hear thrown around Cup, and you hear thrown around Jonathan Taylor. Now, here's my issue with Jonathan Taylor. He's worse than Derrick Henry was last year. The quarterbacks are better than the quarterbacks were last year. So if Jonathan Taylor, with 1,850 whatever yards, gets MVP, and Derrick Henry last year with 2,000 yards and worst quarterback play around the league, didn't get MVP, it's the biggest injustice in NFL history. Derrick Henry earned MVP last year. I'm not going to get into that, but he definitely earned it. Nobody else deserved it. Rodgers did not deserve it, clearly. That's a fraud MVP. It should have been Derrick Henry. He was the most valuable player to a team in the NFL. But that being said, this year, Matt Stafford's the most valuable player in my opinion. Notice he's not in those 4 people I talked about, but Cooper Kupp, he's really good. He had a big breakout year. Wonder why. because he has great quarterback play. Cooper Kupp is a really, really good receiver. But why is Devontae Adams so good? You know, like, these receivers, they go somewhere else, they'd still be good, but they'd be putting up numbers like Cooper Kupp put up the past however many years, 3, 4 years or whatever. So, number one, Cooper Kupp's out. Number two, Rodgers, his stats aren't that good except for his rating. He's very efficient, but he doesn't put up a ton of yards, doesn't put up a ton of touchdowns, and he has a great supporting cast, right? He's still good. He should be in the running, but his stats aren't as good as Stafford's in my opinion. Brady, best in yards and touchdowns, but a crazy good supporting staff, and he has a bunch of MVPs. That should factor in my opinion, if it's really close. That should factor in and spread the wealth a little bit, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
My final point here, though, is so Stafford, he was number 2 in yards. Herbert passed him up with that crazy, Monday night finish or Sunday night or whatever that was. So Herbert ends up passing him up. So he ends up 3rd in yards. But the only person out of this race that was better than him in yards was Brady. Touchdowns, the only person better than him, Brady. Rating, or the only person better than him, Rodgers. So he's universally the next best behind Brady and Rodgers in categories. They're the best at one, but way lower on the others. And then here's the key point. Record's just as good. Did just as good, but he was on a brand new freaking team. How do people just brush out under the rug? Like, yeah, he threw some interceptions at the end of the year, like on a drive when he's trying to win the game against the Niners. He throws a pick. Everybody's like, oh, Stafford's going to flake in the playoffs. He did all this on a brand new team. And then with all his receivers hurt except for Cooper Kupp, everybody else got hurt. They bring in Odell at the middle of the year. Like, they had no running backs were all hurt. Darrell Henderson got hurt. Cam Akers got hurt. Robert Woods got hurt. Deshaun Jackson throws a fit and leaves. It's a mess. It's a complete trash heap except for Cooper Kupp. And Matt Stafford put up crazy numbers, a crazy record in his first year with a team and a coach and a system. It's crazy. I don't know. Sorry, I know I just took up a lot of time on that, but I had to get my Stafford spiel off my chest because last year Derrick Henry was the clear deserving MVP in my opinion. This year, not quite as clear, but I think Stafford, to me, I can't make an argument for anybody over him because well-rounded candidate, he's the most well-rounded candidate to win.
I agree 100%. So I agree 100% because
that was a good spiel.
To go with it, I'm a big Matt Stafford guy, but in any event, going with your point about Cooper Kupp, the quarterback always makes the receiver every time. And if there is a receiver that performs really well without a quarterback, then obviously that receiver deserves to get the MVP because that's 100 times harder than having a guy that performs as well as your Tom Brady's, Aaron Rodgers, anything like that. But yeah, Matt Stafford, he's my MVP guy. I would give it to him because
he's not going to win it though.
I don't think he will either because every analyst is already talking about how it's Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And your point with Jonathan Taylor, that's 100% true. He doesn't deserve it, mainly because you look at last year.
They set the precedent for running backs. They don't care about
them. The MVP has now become just the best quarterback award, and that's all it's going to be until some way, somehow they change it. So that's how it is. Matt Stafford should be MVP, but he probably won't get it. That's the issue there.
Yeah. I kind of agree with the Stafford. I don't think he'll get it. I think Brady's going to get it. But also with your Cooper Kupp argument too. Look at even OBJ. He had like 3 touchdowns in what was it, 9 or 11 games with the Browns, and then he went to the Rams and he had 5 within 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, and you think about the talent with all the injuries. He didn't have anybody else to throw to than Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp's a route runner, so he was still going to be able to find ways to get open. And it's like he literally had no talent. They didn't have a running back. They didn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'd like Stafford to win.
I'd love for Matt Stafford.
I think it's going Brady. They love him.
Yeah. It's Brady or Rodgers. It shouldn't be.
I won't be upset if Brady wins it though, because Brady deserves it every year with what he's done. So.
I won't be upset with that, but just going back to my point, I know you guys all hated on it, but if Brady and Stafford are literally neck and neck, like as far as stats and accolades for the season on who should be MVP. Don't you see what I'm saying, though? If there's 2 players that are just as good, you can't make an argument one way or the other. Give it to the guy that didn't win it yet. If there's no other tiebreaker, give it to the guy that didn't win it yet. Brady has...
but that's like arguing...
I guess, but then that kind of gives him, like, that extra edge, though. Like, throughout the season, if they do finish, neck and neck, then you're going to
decide it then.
Well, Brady's 40. How old's Brady? 46 or some shit, or
no,
something? 46 or something. Yeah. So he's older, performing at a higher level. That if you were to, then that takes more of the edge off of. Okay, so Matt Stafford doesn't have any MVPs, so we're going to raise him up. He's going to be beating Brady, but then you have to take into account, well, Brady's super old compared to Matt Stafford, so that raises him up now, and they're neck and neck again.
I see what you're saying, but I
it takes all of it.
I like to see.
I like your argument, but at the same time, it takes it takes things that you can't factor into the game. Like you can't. I mean, I guess you could essentially factor in how many MVPs he's won, but from just this season, most valuable player of this season, you can't just say, oh, well, Tom Brady's won, however many MVPs in the past couple seasons, so that's going to make him a little bit less valuable to this season.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just so you guys know too, our producer tonight is Sam, Nick's girlfriend.
Hello. Hey.
Right. But so anyway, getting back with the awards. So I think another one that's easy, one that should be easy, is everything defensive, in my opinion. I don't know.
It
should be Watt for Depoy, and it should be Parsons for
100%.
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
PFF put Myles Garrett above TJ Watt.
So I posted this.
I don't even know how it's an argument.
I posted this in the AFC North Facebook group.
Yeah.
So here's the fundamental difference between a player like TJ Watt or a player like Ray Lewis or a player like Paul Malu or Ed Reed. They do everything. They change the game on defense. They change the game. And then here's the difference them compared to a player like Terrell Suggs or Champ Bailey or Brian Dawkins. They're really good at one specific thing. So, Champ Bailey, really great coverage cornerback. Terrell Suggs, really great pass rusher. Brian Dawkins, really great run support, thumping safety, right? So, at the end of the day, that's the difference between Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. TJ Watt does every single thing. He can drop back and cover. He's a great run support guy. He's a great pass rusher, and he leads that defense, fundamentally. Myles Garrett, the defense is, bad there, so maybe he would do a little bit more if it was a little bit better, but he's pretty much a pure pass rusher and a great one. Probably, arguably the best in the NFL. I kind of give the edge to TJ Watt a little bit after what he's done this year, but they're neck and neck for best pass rusher. Aaron Donald's obviously a great pass rusher, but I think he's a little bit lower than those guys. He's an interior rusher. It's a little different, and I just think that's the fundamental difference there. Garrett's a great player at what he does, but if he didn't lead the league in sacks, how do you make an argument for him to be MVP when that's all he has to do?
Yeah. It's very true.
And TJ did it with less games.
Way more sacks.
Should have been 23.5. That's my take on it. I don't care what anyone throws at me. They can say that it's a tackle for loss. That's not right.
Yeah, if a QB muffs a snap and picks it up, I don't think that counts as a run. That doesn't make sense.
No. He could have still threw it.
Yeah.
End of the day, it'd be different if the rule was he can't throw it after that.
Just like if they do like a flea flicker or something. I think that's a sack, right? Like it should be. So why would that? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. But and then Rookie of the Year, Parsons, of course, we all agree.
Oh yeah.
And that's 100%. Another TJ Watt type of guy. Does literally everything.
He's a freak.
And I'll say this much too. I wrestled Parsons. You guys know.
How did I know we get to
I just love saying this because number one, it's cool that I wrestled somebody that freaking good in the NFL. But I wrestled him when we were younger. And this kid was, like, the most ridiculous athlete. Like, when we were, 9 years old, this dude was just, the strongest kid at the weight class and, the fastest kid. So I'm not surprised in any way, shape, or form. That's the type of kid when you're going to compete against them. You're I got to really win this based off of actual skill at, the moves because he's 10 times better athlete than me, and I can't make that gap up. You know what I mean?
You should have got his autograph after.
No, he was really he was a nice dude too. When I met him, I thought he was a nice kid and stuff. So
Penn State alumni disagree.
But all right. But so then here's one with actual debate: Offensive Rookie of the Year. I want to hear what you guys think.
I think it should be Jamar Chase.
There's
It's going to go to Mack Jones just because everything's quarterback heavy. But
Yeah,
I'd say
only
Jamar Chase.
four candidates that I can
Four.
see. Only 4.
I see 3. I want to hear
Yeah,
your
who's the?
There's starting from I guess I'll start with the one that I don't think has a shot, but I would consider it only because he has a ton of receptions. Jalen Waddle, even though he had
I thought
104
that's what-
receptions,
yeah.
over 1,000 yards,
Yeah.
and 6 touchdowns.
It was a good season.
No, it was a good season, but it was overshadowed compared to Chase. So that's why I say there's 4, because Chase is my number 1.
But if he wasn't there.
If he wasn't there, then obviously we'd have Jalen Waddle in the conversation. But
Mhm.
Chase
And
is
with
number
a
1.
little bit of a quarterback flux situation there
Mhm.
too, you know.
Number 2 would be Mack Jones, just because he played the best out of them, out of the rookie quarterbacks. You can't really argue that. He has over. I think I looked at his stats earlier. I think it's 3,800 yards and
Mhm.
he has.
most wins, most yards, most touchdowns.
Yeah, so he's in the conversation. And then Najee Harris, 1,200 rushing yards, over 400 receiving yards, 74 catches in total. He had 13 touchdowns or something like that.
Mhm.
0 fumbles.
So I would say
Yeah,
that
0 fumbles.
if we're taking,
It took a beating with that O-line.
I would say that he should be second, if not first. And I think Jamar Chase is probably going to end up first, which I think is right. But
I totally agree with your initial
Yeah.
ranking too, because Mac Jones would get the nod over Najee because he's a quarterback.
Yeah, I
But-
hate that.
Najee, again, James Conner goes to a system that really helps the run out because they spread the offense so much. Najee comes to a horrible situation because nobody expects Ben to throw deep anymore, you know what I mean? And the line's terrible. So that's why his yard per carry average is so low. Everybody wants to hate on it, he's only averaging 3.7 yards or something, which first off isn't
You
even
can only do
disgusting.
so
but,
much.
I mean, he has 238 carries
yeah.
with 0 fumbles.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and also, did you guys see that stat they put up the last game? He played 85% of 85% of all snaps on offense, which he's the only running back to have over 85% or 85%. The rest of them are under 70.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
That's a big gap.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, especially with the style of football today. But then you look at our other running back. Well, Benny Snell.
Benny Snell.
He's
Benny
pretty good.
Snell football, baby.
Finally,
Come on
finally.
now.
But
He's a good second option.
finally.
I like him.
Mhm.
All right,
I
then.
guess.
This award doesn't matter, and I don't care about it at all in any way, shape, or form. But comeback player of the year, I'm gonna throw it out
that's
there.
easy.
Nobody better say Dak here because it's Joe Burrow.
It's
Yeah,
100%
it's
Joe.
100%.
There's no worry.
100%.
Yeah, that's when he
Look at the
plays.
team. Look at the Bengals last year to this year with them.
Yeah, and I think
Joe
Joe
Burrow,
Burrow is a
100%.
difference maker.
Mhm.
I'm not Dak advocate.
Yeah. No, it's 100%
Yeah, it
Joe
has,
Burrow.
man.
All right, cool. And then lastly, Coach of the Year. That's another tough one. Every year that's tough because there's that's one that I feel like every year it's gonna be whoever wins got 45% of the votes and it's split between 8 or 9 people.
Yeah.
But I'll personally go Vrabel because for them to get the number 1 seed locked down without Derrick Henry, I know they dropped games that they should have never lost, to the Texans, but that roster is just it's so bad. It's so bad. It's just Derrick Henry. Julio didn't do anything. Tannehill didn't do anything before he came there, and he can only do stuff when Henry's running good because it frees up the pass. A.J. Brown's not a number 1 receiver. He's an okay number 2 because of physicality. I mean, that offense is bad. Harold Landry's good. That's all I got to say on him. Kevin Bird or Fire, however you say it, he's all right. He actually got first team All-Pro, which is weird. Also, first team All-Pro, I don't remember who was on it. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was awful.
It was.
It was
so
so bad.
I didn't see the offense. I just saw
Quentin Nelson didn't make it. Joel Petonio made it at guard instead of Quentin Nelson.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that was weird. But yeah, Coach of the Year, you guys got any other opinions?
I was thinking Rabel too, just because last year I wasn't. I mean, I knew he was good and everything, but when Derrick Henry went out and they kept winning, everybody
That is
said
a good point.
when he got
honestly.
hurt that team was not going to win another game, and they still won. They had these backup running backs looking solid,
Yeah.
but I'll give Dan Campbell runner-up. Not many wins, but he had heart, man.
Love that heart.
I love Dan
He
Campbell.
pushed for him to win.
He cries when they lose.
Yeah.
I'd say Sean McVay's in the conversation too, only
Yeah.
because the trade was of getting Stafford. That's just a difference maker. Like,
New QB's tough too. It's a tough situation to navigate.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, I'd say, is in there. After
Oh,
going
yeah,
from last year to
100%.
this year.
Definitely.
you know what? Actually, I'm
I
going to
would
go
put
Bill
him up there.
Belichick over Sean McVay. Now that
Yeah.
you said that, thinking about how he got a rookie quarterback coming in,
Yeah.
brought him to the playoffs, and that's just outstanding.
It's not.
He,
Yeah,
he
that's
should
a
be
good
coach. He
Belichick
should be
too.
coach of the year every year.
Mm-hmm.
He won a game against a rival with 3 passes from his quarterback.
Exactly.
You know, that's
ridiculous.
Yeah, he might
That's
be
all
better this
coaching
year.
if your quarterback throws 3 passes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so before we get into our last 2 topics, we're going to talk a little bit about offseason and draft because we've got to touch on that. We're going to talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame. First off, I want to do 2 plugs for the channel here. So one, I got Cardio Time Machine repack up on eBay. Check it out. It was really fun for me to do. It hasn't had a lot of traction yet, so give it a look. But I got some really top tier vintage rookies in these, like a Shannon Sharp action packed rookie. If that grades out of 10, it goes for like $400. And they were all slab when I found them, not graded, but they were all on slabs for whoever knows how long. So they're all going to grade out well. $25 on eBay right now. Check them out. You get a lot of cards in it too. It's 18 cards, guaranteed hit. So that's fun. And then also, if you guys haven't checked out Bro Down Breaks, we got 1 episode up. All these guys will eventually participate in it. Derek was on the first installment. We all open up some boxes. Like, special guest, my kid and Reggie here too. But we all open up some boxes, and the 2 losers, they each have to give up a card to the Bro Down Breaks pack. And then at the end, the pack will have 8 cards, and we're going to give it away to 1 subscriber. So check that out too if you guys get a chance. I just wanted to plug those 2 things for you. Sam, is the camera still rolling good?
Oh, no.
I got to check, so I got to make sure I don't use up all my...
No, you're good, yeah.
All right.
Let me see.
All right, so final
Yeah,
2
you're good.
topics. First off, I don't know, you think we should start with the Hall of Fame, or should we get into the off-season draft stuff?
Hall of Fame's probably going to be pretty short. So.
Yeah, let's knock it out real quick.
Okay.
All right, so Hall of Fame. First off, I want to make a couple quick plugs on it. I want to hear what you guys want to think, and I'll tell you my class for the year. I'll tell you who should go and who I think would go. So first we'll do that. Who should go? Obviously, there's a huge backup of receivers, but only 1 receiver should probably go. I think it should be Torrey Holt. Tony Baselli should go in. He's been waiting a long time just because he's been injured. You put in people like Terrell Davis for, he played way less. Tony Baselli should be in. Terrell Davis is not like Dylan.
Not at all. Yelled at me whenever I was just a little
Hall
boy.
of Fame.
Screamed at me at the Hall of Fame.
Dylan was smacking on a screen at the Hall of Fame, and Terrell Davis came up and kind of grabbed his shoulder and said "Hey, don't mess with that," and walked away.
You don't have enough money to pay for it. I was like, "Whoa."
But so I got Tony Baselli, I got Torrey Holt. I give 2 first ballot people, but I can see an argument. So I give it to DeMarcus Ware. I think he's the most deserving first
I
ballot.
agree.
But I can see the arguments with other linebackers. I think even though he's a pass rusher, I think only 1 linebacker gets in. And Zach Thomas and Patrick Willis are still both super, super deserving. But so I'm going to Marcus Ware, Baselli, Holt. Then I thought there was no way, but I'm actually seeing a shift with what I'm hearing. It sounds like Devin Hester actually has a real shot. I think he 100% deserves it. They've never respected special teams. It took Ray Guy forever to get in. It took Morton Anderson forever to get in. So put Hester in, and then, before he gets the senior nominee, put Steve Tasker in. He's the best special teams player overall to ever play the game. Put him in. He deserves it. All right, so I wanted to plug that. And then lastly, my last person to get in, it gets a little stickier after this couple. Who do I have? I had somebody clear in my head. Blanking. D-back. Shoot. Let me pull it up. Oh, man. I'm losing my train of thought. I'll pull it up. Don't you worry. Maybe they don't deserve it over Patrick Willis then.
You think
Apparently.
he,
That's
really, you
solidified
think he
it,
deserved
yeah.
it? I didn't think he played.
Patrick
that well.
Willis 100% deserves it. Luke Kuechly will deserve it. But you know who deserves it even more, actually? I'm screwing up my own thing. Zach Thomas.
Rondé Barber, is that who you're thinking of? Or
Is there a safety? Who are the safeties?
Leroy Butler.
Oh yeah, Leroy Butler. Leroy Butler's been out for too long, and he started to get some traction. I think he deserves it. I'm not sure he gets in, but I think he deserves it. Also, too, you look at those Packers teams that won the Super Bowls in the '90s, and you got Reggie White, you got Brett Favre, and you got Leroy Butler, so he should be in. But yeah, Zach Thomas though deserves to be in. He was just as good as Urlacher and Ray Lewis at the height of his career, and nobody will debate that. Do you agree with me? Until he got those concussions, nobody would make an argument on that. So, but anybody have any thoughts on somebody you think should slide in there? What do you guys think about the receiver overload? You got Andre Johnson, Torrey
no
Holt,
receiver,
Reggie
no first ballot receiver deserves to be in. First ballot.
well, the
unless
rest of them
they're
are
on-
done except for Andre Johnson. Steve Smith didn't make it to the final.
Perfect. Great. Don't put Andre Johnson in. That's ridiculous that he would even be a thought to be put in because Terrell Owens didn't get put in his first year. And Terrell Owens is
Wow.
either the
Chris Harden.
second or third best receiver stat-wise.
Yeah.
And personally, in my opinion, second or third best receiver. I agree with Calvin Johnson getting in first ballot because the potential that he had if he would have played longer,
I'm not
ridiculous.
sure I agree with it,
But-
he was going in either way, but just first ballot since,
Andre Johnson's definitely not a first ballot receiver.
I
He-
agree.
at least have him wait one more year. That's fine. I'll be fine with that. But he can't get in his first year.
Anybody have any hard feelings about Hines Ward?
No, he shouldn't be. He shouldn't
Yeah,
get in
I
over
mean-
these guys either.
Yeah, he should get in eventually. But
Eventually.
He's
but-
going to wait a while because he's going to be after Reggie Wayne, Torrey Holt, Andre Johnson, Steve Smith will be ahead of him. Anquan Bolden may even be
Steve
ahead
Smith
of him.
deserves it over
Fitzgerald
Andre
when he
Johnson
comes.
100%.
Yeah.
Steve Smith might be.
No.
You don't
No.
think so?
Andre Johnson's a better receiver, for sure.
I don't know. Steve
For sure,
Smith has
that's
more.
right.
I mean, Steve
Oh,
Smith
look at
has
it,
more stats.
He threw the
but
ball to Andre Johnson, Derek Carr, Matt Schaub, TJ
David Carr,
Yates.
but yeah.
Yeah, David Carr, TJ Yates,
Fair enough.
Sage Rosenfeld. Like he,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But he had. Steve Smith had what? Delhomme and Cam. Did he have anyone
Cam
else?
won MVP though.
Not while.
He had David
what?
Clausen or
Jimmy
Jimmy Clausen. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, I'm screwing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Clausen. Yeah, I don't know, but
Personally,
Andre
I just
Johnson's
like
a
Steve
better
Smith
receiver.
better, but that's just.
they're
me.
debatable. I'll give you that.
I think Jared Allen. I don't know. Maybe he should get in. Maybe.
Oh,
I mean,
Jared Allen, that was my other person.
I like Jared
Yeah,
Allen. I like
Jared Allen,
He had
yeah.
a great.
Jared
Almost
Allen.
record-breaking sack year the one year.
Yeah,
So-
there's arguments to be made too for like Richard Seymour. I don't like Richard Seymour that much, but the stats are there. The success is there. The Super Bowls, Rodney Harrison, the success is there. You can make arguments for those guys all day, but I will say this: the senior. Well, two things. One, I don't know why so many quarterbacks keep being screwed because none of them even make the semifinals. Steve McNair, Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb. How did not one of those guys make the semifinals? Phil Simms got snubbed for a long time. Boomer Esiason, Ken Anderson. Ken Anderson's on the senior list. He should be in already. Kenny Stabler had to wait forever. There's a lot of quarterbacks that get screwed for Hall of Fame, and it's weird and it doesn't make sense because everything else is about loving the quarterback. So I don't know, but I got a problem with that. Randall Cunningham should be in the Hall of Fame. Nothing else needs to be said about that. And lastly, people like Roger Craig and Joe Jacoby and L.C. Greenwood, it's ridiculous that they're not in. They need to really get this senior committee picking the right people, but they finally did pick a really good senior committee pick this year. Cliff Branch, he deserved it for a long time. I'm glad to see him go in. You would have no Tyreek Hills and, just super sparky, quick receivers, downfield, deep threat guys. They were looking for Cliff Branch. He deserved it a long time ago, so I'm glad about that. Anybody else, any last thoughts on the Hall of Fame? I could talk all day on it, but
Yeah, you got it
it
covered.
made me mad, man. All right, so lastly, draft and offseason. There's one real key thing I want to talk about out the gate. Quarterbacks in the draft.
Kenny Pickett, baby.
Kenny
Yeah.
Pickett.
Kenny Pickett, baby.
So first off, before we get into the specific quarterbacks, do you guys think the Steelers should draft a QB? And then do
Yes.
you think they will draft a QB? Let's go around.
I mean, yeah, we should probably draft one. Unless we can trade for somebody or sign somebody in the offseason that's like really worth it.
I'll go last.
We should just sign somebody, or not sign somebody, just draft somebody. Just hope Kenny Pickett. So we should draft. I'm down for it.
Do you think they will?
No, they probably won't. In reality,
So I think they probably should, but also like they've been the ones seeing Dwayne Haskins practice this past year. He could end up being really good with a year under Ben, learning the playbook that the fans don't know about. But
I agree with that.
so we don't see what's happening in the background with him, and it would be cool if they don't, and Dwayne Haskins becomes that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But as of what I've seen from him, I think they should draft a quarterback. I think they should go with Kenny Pickett, keep him in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, I don't think they draft a quarterback. I think they either spend next year really bad, or Dwayne Haskins is that dude.
Yeah. You can go. I'll go
All right.
last. I'll go last.
So I would love for them to trade up to get Kenny Pickett. If he falls to him, they got to take him. But if he doesn't, I don't think they're taking a quarterback in the first round. They're going to draft a quarterback probably. They'll probably go second, maybe third. They'll just draft one to hope they got some. But other than that, they're definitely not going to. They're not going to go quarterback in the draft. I would love for them to go Kenny Pickett if they could. If they can't, then oh well. I think he's going to be the best quarterback out of the draft. And that's not just even off my Pitt bias, but I just think Kenny Pickett's got the most potential out of everyone. And other than that, they're definitely not going to take a quarterback in the draft. I don't think they will at all. They'll probably end up – what they'll end up doing is they're either going to sign someone in the offseason, or they're just going to go into it with, just Dwayne Haskins, Mason Rudolph. They're going to battle. They'll end up splitting games, or one of them will start 10 games. The other one will start the last 7 or something like that. It'll go in between there. There'll be a mess. And then they'll just get a really good draft pick and pick one the next year if that's the case, if they can't get one in the offseason.
Yeah, see, I agree with this school of thought. So, 2 things. Number one, they're not going to draft a quarterback, I don't think. But one thing that makes me think they could is they convinced, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Kevin Colbert, GM, he is retiring. Mm-hmm. But he's retiring right after the draft. They convinced him to stay through the draft. So, to me, that does kind of make me feel like the talk in the room is, all right, just stick around, find us a successor to Ben real quick, you know what I mean? And that's the sense that I get about that. So that could be the potential case, but I think that's a huge mistake. And here's why. Horrible quarterback draft. They all suck. I think Kenny Pickett is like Johnny Manziel kind of. I'm trying to think of who else is like similar. Jimmy Claus? My issue with Kenny Pickett is I think he relies too much on his legs to make things happen because his arm isn't quite there. It's not NFL level. I think he could be okay for a little while, but I think that he would get exposed pretty quickly in the league. I don't really believe in Kenny Pickett. I think Malik Willis is raw, and he's a really good athlete. Are we still good? We're still rolling?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, he's a really good athlete, but he reminds me of a lot of quarterbacks who they were great athletes and they didn't make it in the NFL. And he plays such horrible talent at Liberty, and when he plays somebody good, he doesn't do very good. So that's my issues with him. And the last 2, Matt Corral and Sam Howell. Sam Howell's not even in the conversation really anymore for a first rounder. I could see him slide up in there. They're the same player. Matt Corral's going to be the top quarterback drafted, and Sam Howell is going to be the 4th quarterback drafted. And here's the difference. The ceiling for Sam Howell was like sky high. The expectations were sky high. Sam Howell's supposed to do all this stuff this year, look great, set himself clearly apart as the number 1 pick in the draft. Doesn't live up to expectations. Not on a very good team. His team did bad. He doesn't get there, right? So that's the deal with Sam Howell. And Matt Corral on the other side, the expectations are real low. He's going to be like a 4th round pick, whatever. Nobody cares about him. Team's still not very good. The team does better than people think, and he plays like he's the best quarterback in the draft. So that's the difference between the 2 of them. Arm strength is just average. Athleticism is just average. Kenny Pickett, maybe a little bit better of an arm and a little bit better of an athlete, but it's not I think all three of them, it's just so average. So what I would do, and what I think that they will do, is I wouldn't draft anybody. I would roll with Haskins and Rudolph. If you want to draft somebody late, that's fine. It probably doesn't matter anyway. Or if you want to look to pick somebody up and, maybe not Sam Darnold, but I'm saying like a guy that's like that has some potential. Not Aaron Rodgers.
Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew would be
Love
cool.
me some Gardner Minshew.
I would be cool with Gardner Minshew or somebody that's even cheaper. Like, trying to think of who makes sense. I had some people in mind before, but like in reality, Mitch Trubisky could make some sense. I mean, even like one of those Colts guys like Ellinger or Eason, if they ended up out there, or even Jake Fromm, like just a guy who has some upside to get in the room. Because best case scenario, Haskins proves to be a guy. I don't think Rudolph can prove it anymore. I think Rudolph could be like what the Steelers had in the 90s. He can win some games. He can get you by. They're a good franchise.
He's an Alex Smith type of guy.
Yeah, he's okay.
Game manager.
Not as good though, but yeah,
No.
he's okay.
Yeah.
Haskins has upside still. You get another guy in the room like Haskins with the upside. You let them all battle it out. You see who wins, and then once that guy, if it's one of the upside guys, once they start to fail, you go to the other upside guy. Once they start to fail, you cut your losses. You go with Rudolph. You draft somebody next year. I don't even think the class is going to be good next year. You look at the quarterbacks in college. I don't see like we were spoiled right before the Steelers come up with great QB classes. I don't see it happening anytime soon. But you got to try. But this year, I just don't think it's very good. Thoughts? Who's the best quarterback in the draft?
Pickett.
You guys are all going to say
Kenny Pickett.
Why Kenny Pickett though?
He beat Dan Marino's stats at Pitt.
Well,
in a much different era.
Yeah, that's a little different. But I watched Kenny Pickett play. This is about the only college football season that I actually watched fully, and it was because Kenny Pickett was playing so crazy. But watching him throw, the way that he has poise in the pocket, he steps up to throw. He doesn't care if anyone's in his face. He got the ability to run. He did that crazy move. That crazy fake slide, which is outlawed now. So the Kenny Pickett rule,
day.
you're pretty good dude if they have to make a rule about you.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, that's why I think he's the best. I think he should have been number 2 at least in voting for the Heisman. But that's just me. I think his arm is above average, just a little bit above average, compared to the NFL level. His legs give him enough time to move around in the pocket to where he's not going to be immobile like Ben is now. So he'll be able to, at least get out of harm's way if he has to, or if he needs to pick up. He's like Josh Allen a little bit with a lesser arm, of course, but his running ability is the same. He can still
I think
run.
of him kind of like a Justin Herbert, maybe because they look alike a little bit. But I think they're similar. I think they're similar on the field because like Justin Herbert can run, but like he's not a running quarterback.
So smart. That's the thing with Justin Herbert. He's so smart. My issue with Pickett is just like Nick. Nick's a big Manziel guy. Nick, tell me you don't see when you watch the two of them play.
No, I think Manziel was better in college.
Maybe he was, but
not passing.
They played so similar, did they not? They played a college football style quarterback. They played super similar to their college quarterback.
I don't know. I think.
But also, Manziel's problem wasn't just playing; it was
off the
partying.
field.
Yeah, I mean, he was known. He went to Vegas the night before his last game and showed up like an hour late for the game.
I might be the outlier here, but I liken Kenny Pickett to Joe Burrow in the sense that they have one huge college football season that they blow up on, and then they're the talk of the draft. I'm betting that Kenny Pickett's the first quarterback taken because of his huge upside. Because
I think he's better. Like I said, I think he's better than Coral and Sam Howell. And I think Malik Willis is just this crazy freak athlete. Like his arm's so strong, he's athletic. I think Kenny Pickett is the most polished, and he's a pretty good athlete. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's the first quarterback. I just don't like the class very much. I don't know.
I think the only valuable quarterback to be taken is Kenny Pickett in the first round, and then after that, Malik Willis can go anywhere because he can, depending on where they go,
Like, if he were to go to Carolina for some reason, say Carolina just, didn't end up getting an offseason quarterback, and they decide, we're going to draft, we're not taking quarterback first. If they go with Malik Willis, that's fine. He'll probably be pretty decent there because of the scheme that they had when Cam was there, being a run-first quarterback. Yeah. They're just going to have to switch it up because Cam was always a power quarterback.
Carolina's getting Watson, though.
Yeah, that's why I said I'd talk about that later. Carolina's definitely getting Watson. They're trading. I'm calling it right now. They're going to trade CMC and a couple other another player, and then a bunch of picks.
You know who's an interesting sleeper, though? And I don't know if Watson would be cool with this because he's got that whole trade clause issue, but and I did want to talk about this anyway, so it's a good transition. But the Giants. This Giants situation is a mess. They're saying they might get rid of Daniel Jones. They might get rid of Barkley. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they can trade Barkley for a lot. That's a lot of value.
Barkley and Danny
It's lower because he's hurt, but yeah.
Plus, they just fired their coach. If Flores goes to the Giants, Watson liked Flores. Mm-hmm. So, there's that transition.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing, though, too, that the ship that sailed is a lot of people thought it might be like a quarterback for quarterback and then picks involved type of deal. It's not going to happen with the way Mills is playing, I don't think. And the Texans are really dumb if they do that. They're even more dumb than when they traded Hawkins. I don't trade for another quarterback. I wouldn't even draft a quarterback unless you love somebody. Roll with Mills, build around him because he got picks for a while once you trade Watson. Roll with that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I could agree with that.
So what do you guys think about the other top quarterbacks that may potentially move? Your Rodgers, Russell Wilson. What do you guys think about those situations? Even, Derek Carr, I believe, he's still a free agent technically, right? But he's probably going to be one of those guys.
He's going to go with the Raiders. He loves the
Raiders.
Raiders.
I think he said before he wants to stay.
Yeah. Rodgers, if he goes anywhere other than Green Bay, which I think the situation's improved there, he's probably going to stay. But I think if he were to go anywhere, he's going to the Broncos.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I hope it's not the Steelers, just because to me,
I hate that idea.
The team's not ready to win a Super Bowl, and that's like a 2-year, 3-year rental. Only if you're ready right now to win a Super Bowl, that's when you make that move.
I think they could probably. Yeah, they could probably get to a Super Bowl.
They could be a contender, but I don't see them winning it.
I don't know, but if they get him, they can draft for O-line and work on building the O-line.
I think the O-line's going to be significantly better anyway next year.
Yeah.
Some of these rookies,
it is young.
They got talent.
And they can work on, their cornerbacks.
They just can't have
cornerbacks.
I would draft cornerbacks.
So, if they get him, they'll be able to focus a whole different side with the draft. So, I think they could be a win now.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. But if Russell Wilson was available, that's the type of move that
I would take Russell Wilson.
But everybody's going to want Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson might come available, and he's going to be one of those guys that ends up on a team that you didn't expect to go for a quarterback because everybody'd be willing to throw whatever away just to get him, like
the Browns.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you heard that, there's rumors Baker might want to leave.
Yeah,
and that's interesting.
Well, I saw the Browns don't want to keep him either.
Well, the Browns fans, you should be counting your blessings if Baker wants to leave because that team was built. That team was built. And Baker,
he's such a mediocre quarterback.
He's bad. You watch him play, and he just falls apart all the time. I mean, you would think too a system where you can pound the ball 40 times a game with Nick Chubb up the gut. I know it's an exaggeration, but you would think that's the ideal system, and it don't work.
And Kareem Hunt to come in when Chubb's tired.
Yeah, that team is so stacked.
Baker's not
I like Baker Mayfield, but he's another Alex Smith guy. He's just the game manager, and he's just not doing a very good job this year at it. We'll have to judge him off of next year. If he sucks next year, he's gone for sure.
Yeah.
But if he comes out and he plays decent, or even if he comes back to what he looked like as a rookie, they'll keep him.
I hope they let him move on. But the other thing with Baker, in the time that he kind of popped off and stuff, I would worry that I really like the Panthers. I like the talent they have there, and I would worry that they would make a move for Baker because Matt Rule's a Big 12 guy. He comes from Baylor. He's used to playing Baker. If he liked Baker when he played against him in college, that's a move I could see him making. I think Rule's a good coach, and I think that would be a big mistake if I were in that team. I think Watson's the right move.
Any top-tier quarterback that's looking to move on, as long as they go to Carolina, they're instantly a Super Bowl contender. I don't care what anyone says.
I think there's an argument to be made for Denver, too, because Denver is just scrappy. They're similar to like the
They
Raiders.
have a really
and
good
us.
defense. Their
Yeah.
defense is built. It's young.
You got
Same with
picks from Von Miller.
Same with the Panthers. You're getting a good defense to start
And two
with. And
great young receivers in Denver.
all they're missing is the quarterback. Going back to the Steelers thing, I wouldn't be mad if Teddy Bridgewater came here either. He's
Hey,
good
as a
bridge.
part of
I
that
like
mix, with Rudolph and Haskins. But again, I think no matter what, if that's a scenario, you try for Haskins to win the job. Unless he's really bad, you try for him to win the job. Try and give him a little time because he's the only guy in that scenario that could be the long-term answer. But speaking of that, that's one of the guys I was forgetting about. Minshew was a great point. Drew Lock. When Drew Lock has had Bridgewater played really well, so Bridgewater did deserve to win that job, but both of them deserved it. And when Lock played, like the last week of the season, they almost beat the Chiefs, and the Chiefs were trying to win to get the number 1 seed. Lock balled out. He looks good. If he came to Pittsburgh somehow, I would love that. And that is a Steelers-style quarterback. Strong arm, athletic. You know, like I like Drew Lock still. I think that he was raw when he came out, and he shouldn't have been thrown in the fire right away. You know? So, I don't know. I think that would be interesting too. But
I feel like it just determines where Rodgers and Russell Wilson go. It's going to be, like, you know what I mean? Like, nothing's going to happen till that, because, like, teams are going to wait and see if they can get him. Like, you're not going to trade for Drew Lock or Minshew until you find out you can't get Rodgers.
Deshaun Watson's a hot
But
commodity
Watson,
too, but
they're
saying
asking
that
for so much.
Yeah, they want a lot, which is fine and dandy, but the Dolphins already kind of have that locked up unless something falls through like
Watson.
it did. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a whole
After firing Flores, I don't know if the Dolphins.
I think it's going to be a whole different game now. And Tua played good enough. Like, if I'm Miami, I hold the cards. I'm not going to be willing to give up very much for Watson. Like, if I'm Miami, I'd say I'll give you a second and a third. You know, because he hasn't played in a year. He's got the legal trouble still. And Tua played good enough. You're not desperate. And then, you know, you go with second and third. You might trade Tua for just as much, if not more. And then it's an okay situation for you. But, you know, Miami holds the cards. I don't know.
Well, if I'm Watson, there's 4 places I'm going, and only 4 places that I'm going. Number 1 would be Carolina. That'd be my favorite fit for him. Number 2, Washington. I think he could do damage there with their offense, as well as the defense is super young, so that's another fit. The Broncos, and then we got number 4 would be the Giants. But that's if I'm winning now.
Well,
if
you
I
do
want to
gotta
win,
wonder though if Russell Wilson goes somewhere, Seahawks are still attractive because of Pete Carroll and stuff. If he stays,
yeah, but their line is so garbage. He's gonna hate it just as much as Russell Wilson did.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're adding in just another team, just for because I like the location, obviously Miami, but that would be my last one I'd want to go to because that place is just a cluster of.
with Flores
no one
being
knows what's
gone,
going on.
they're gonna go right back to a mess. And also, too, for whoever comes into Miami, why move on at quarterback right now? Why not give Tua another year or two? Because you look at what Waddle put up, and they already have a really strong connection and stuff. Like, it just doesn't make sense to dismantle that. It wasn't bad. I mean, they won 7 straight. It wasn't bad, and they made the playoffs last year. You know, like, the firing Flores, I don't know what they're doing over there, but what a knee-jerk, weird reaction that was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but you guys got any other good points to make on the off season?
Nope.
Does Ryan Fitzpatrick retire or go to another team and
He
ruin
comes to
their record for
He comes to the
somewhere?
Steelers for 4 games and he
Yep.
plays like he's Tom Brady mixed with Dan Marino.
He'll
He's going to
come-
light it up.
He's
2,000
going
yards
to
in
get
4
signed by
games.
another team. He's going to play his first 3-4 games. He's going to have like 400 yards average and then nothing but picks. Nothing but picks.
All I know is
nothing
wherever
but
he ends up,
heartbreak.
the starter better be scared because you know there's going to be some way Fitzpatrick finds the
Yeah,
kill.
he'll sneak into the
Yeah.
starting
Whether it's
job.
through injury or something, he'll be there.
He's going to end up in
Fitzmagic will
Tennessee.
show up and then Fitzpatrick will come back.
Also,
Yeah.
too, we didn't talk about them, but I'm just saying 2 other names. Garoppolo is probably going to start somewhere. I don't like him, but he's probably going to start somewhere next year. It's probably not going to be San Fran. And then also, I think that there was some buzz last year around Marcus Mariota, and he's not staying healthy and stuff, but just the running ability and stuff, like, he's
Yeah,
a
he can go
bridge
somewhere.
quarterback for a team that, like Seattle. Seattle has a system where they like the quarterback to be able to run a little bit. he's a bridge quarterback that makes sense in that
A little bit.
environment.
The offensive line
Yeah.
says, please run the whole game.
Oh yeah.
Marcus Mariota would fit great there. They lose
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, just bargain on that, and then hopefully try and find an offensive line.
Yeah. And one last note for you too. I know everybody's hyping up Aiden Hutchinson. I think he's great. I think the Jags should trade out on the number 1 pick if they can. They won't be able to because there's 2 top-tier D linemen in Hutchinson and Thibodeau. But if they take one of them, they're making a huge, huge mistake. They have to take Evan Neal. They need to build offense. Take the offensive lineman. Keep Trevor Lawrence up and healthy.
Yeah, I like the trade back
100%.
idea. They just had the first pick last year.
Yeah, I just feel like
The
they
first couple picks are only good
Yeah.
for premier prospects and quarterback, and since they don't, I mean, of course they could use a premier prospect, but they need to protect Trevor Lawrence because he is the future, and if they don't do that, then the Jaguars are going to be in the same spot that they are right now.
They have 2 good running backs now.
And Trevor Lawrence is going to want to get out, and he'll end up being like David Carr because he got hit so many times that he's just going to give up.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta build around him, keep him healthy. I mean, he showed a couple times this year some sparks. You gotta get more talent on offense too. Like DJ Chark is a great complement player. You know, ETN and Robinson, like they'll work in there. Like they have solid complement players. Marvin Jones, good red zone player, complement.
Mm-hmm.
They need a true number 1 receiver too. So like you can't hate on that. But there's nobody at the number 1 pick. Now the number 1 pick in the second round, there's gonna be good receivers.
Yeah, I mean, they could trade back with that first for a top-tier receiver and just go back 10 spots, you know? Like, teams would be all over that.
Yeah, throw it to the Saints. They can get Mike Thomas.
I mean, they could get Mike Thomas and go
That'd be
back,
pretty
how many
crazy.
picks with the Saints? They're what, like, pick
18.
18?
Yeah.
Oh, they're that far back?
Yeah, they just barely missed
That'd
the
be
playoffs.
nice.
They're
Oh, yeah, I
tied
guess
for the
that's
last spot
true,
with
yeah.
the Eagles,
Yeah, never mind.
All right.
That'd still be worth it, Mike Thomas, and to go back 17.
give him a chance.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still got the
With
first.
Trevor Lawrence, that could be pretty nice, and then you grab a
Mhm.
tackle, and all of a sudden you got a little offense for
You have
you
Mike
got Robinson and
Thomas.
ETN back.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Thomas does the 5-yard slants, and you just got fucking DJ running the deeps.
Yeah, DJ Chark's got wheels too, man. I
Yeah.
got a numbered to 10 autograph from him out of Elite when he was a rookie, autographed rookie card. I want him to stay on. He's got that 1 Pro Bowl. Let's build it a little bit with Trevor Lawrence there and make that card worth some money, you know.
Yeah, hopefully.
But speaking of cards, because this is a card channel too, one last little tidbit. Start buying the Texans in breaks because Davis Mills is going to be the quarterback there for a long time. Texans go cheap on everything. I would love to get a couple nice Davis Mills here before the end of the year. I mean, I think he's right there with Mack Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Fields, Trey Lance is at the bottom of the barrel now, in my opinion. I'd put Davis Mills over, you know. And Kellen Moore, too, another guy to think about. Kirk Cousins might be on the move, you know. Should be on the move.
Kirk Cousins for MVP.
Yeah, I'm just surprised he stays there.
All right, boys. I think that's all we got for you guys tonight. I hope you enjoyed the first podcast of the Pit here with Cardio, and I got Derek, Nick, and Dylan here with me. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back here soon with some more content, probably at the end of the season. So stay ripping, guys.